All right, assignment 9-1. Let's start. So you need a calculator. So let's start this off. Do you know how to use your calculator? Just make sure. Let me show you. Go from there. So this calculator is very easy to use when it comes to your. First thing I want you to notice, does it say RAD in the right corner? RAD means radians. If it's not radians, you should press document, DOC. You should press settings. You should press settings again, document settings, number 2. And then you should change where it says angle. Change it to radian, press enter, enter, enter. And then it should say radian in the top right corner. All right. Then if we put these in, so what's the value of cosine? 3 pi over 5. We'll just do each one right here. Press the trig button. So that's that one right there, trig. So super easy, trig. Go to cosine. Then just type in 3 pi over 5. Control enter to 3 decimal places, negative 0.309. In B, it's cosecant, negative 2.9. Trig, button, cosecant, nice and simple. A lot of calculators don't have the reciprocal functions in them, cosecant, secant, cotangent, but these do. So simple, cosecant, 2.9, control enter, and you have your answer, 4.179. C is what? Tangent 5 over 8. So trig tangent 5 over 8, 0.721. D is cotangent, negative 1.6 pi. All of these are easy. You just type them in. Trig button, cotangent. And again, it's negative, what was it again? Negative 1.6 pi. There it is. Negative 1.6 pi. It's 0.324. Don't have to round. Awesome. Hey, do you know how to do trig evaluation? Can you do trig values with your calculator? Isn't it nice to have a simple, great calculator? Anyways, you're welcome. Number 2. I know, I didn't buy them. But I made sure that these are the new ones we got. 2. 2 to 5, use a calculator to find the x values of each triangle. So if I look at number 2, do you know how to find missing sides and angles of triangles? We have 4.1, 2.5, and we're trying to find that angle x. Let's see what that would do. We need our calculator at the end. And the good news is it will solve it for us. But we need to know how to set it up. So this angle is adjacent over hypotenuse. So I need to know its cosine. And if we want our angle to be in, so if we want our angle to be in degrees, we need to make sure that we change our thing to degrees. But if we don't want it in degrees, it's fine. So if we want the answer in radians, it'll be a decimal answer. I forget which one. Does it say radians? To find the values of each, it doesn't say. So this doesn't say anything. This says radians. No. I'm going to assume it's radians. All right. So it's cosine because we have adjacent and hypotenuse. That's the definition of cosine. And it's ratio, 2.5 over 4.1. And that's it. And then we're going to use our calculator to get an answer for that. So to get x by itself, it's just the inverse cosine of that. So we're going to go inverse cosine. Inverse cosine. So trig, inverse cosine when finding a missing angle. And then that ratio, which is 2.5 over 4.1. And that in radians, that would be 0.915. That's in radians. So to get x by itself, we do the inverse. The symbol for inverse is that little -1, and that's a button on our calculator, the inverse button. All right, number 3. So if I look at number 3, we have opposite and adjacent. That would be tangent. So we're going to write down tangent, and the ratio is 6.7. So tangent of 1.1, let's just do it right to begin with. So the tangent of 1.1, which is in radians, is equal to 6.7 over x. So with that triangle from there, it's opposite over adjacent. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. And then we're going to use our calculator to solve this. So another way we could do this is just solve it, right? You can go to algebra, solve, and then type in tangent 1.1 equals 6.7 over x. There's other ways. I just want to know that you could do this if you had to, right? So if you're given a calculator to use on a question, can you just type it in and solve for x? So the answer is 3.410. So it's important even on an AP exam that we set it up, and then you can use your calculator to solve it. Number 4, what would the setup here? So the angle, opposite, and hypotenuse. So that'd be sine. So sine 0.6 is equal to 10 over x. Opposite over hypotenuse. Use your calculator to solve that equation. So menu, algebra, solve, sine 0.6 equals 10 over x, comma x. How quick can you type it in? And it's 17.710. And was there any units of measurement? I forget that. So in number 3, it was inches. In number 4, there's nothing. Number 5 is in feet, but it's the angle I'm looking for. So look at the angle. What are you given? Opposite and adjacent. That's tangent. So x is the inverse tangent of 7.2 over 5.3. So whenever you're finding a missing angle, you use the inverse of that. So again, I would go inverse tangent. That's the second row. And then 7.2 over 5.3, and that's it. And so in radians, the answer is 0.936. If you wanted to convert that to degrees, you'd multiply it times 180 over pi, and then it would be in degrees. Number 6. So pretty well the entire AP exam would be in radians. Use a calculator to solve that between 0 and 2 pi. So I'm going to show you how to do that. See if I remember. It's a little bit tricky solving a trig equation because a trigonometry equation, it has infinite number of solutions because it's a wave that goes up and down forever. So there's an infinite number of solutions to most of these. So how do I find it in that interval? I'm going to show you. I think I can do it. Do you believe in me? Or not? We'll see. So I want to solve it. So it's algebra. And I'm going to type that equation in. That's the easy part. It's creating the domain restriction. So sine x subtract 2 cosine x. Again, this part's the easy part. And then move the cursor equal to 0. And then we're going to go comma x. That's not the hard part. And then we're going to create a restriction. So I want you to press Control and then equal sign. And what we're going to do is create a restriction. Well, first of all, we're going to do this. I think. Let's see if this works. If it doesn't work like this, I have a different way. So it's between 0 and 2 pi, right? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to type in between 0, and I'm going to go control equals again, and then I'm going to go this. So 0 is a part of it, right? Let's see if this works. May not work. I have to come back and see if it does work a different way. So 0 is included. So this is the one right here. Oh, I hope this works. And then the other side would be 2 pi. All right, let's see if it, just take a moment to see how I type that in, and then go, will this work? So I'm telling it to solve the equation for x, and I'm giving a domain restriction after. So between 0 and 2 pi. Ooh, it didn't do what I wanted it to do. So I got that answer. Dang it. I'm going to try it again a different way. Okay. So I'm going to go back up here. This is my last go. Then I'm going to stop the video. I'm going to try it again a different way. All right. So I'm going to try it this way. Let's see if I got it. So I'm asking to solve that equation between 0 and 2 pi. No. All right. So am I going to give up here? No, I'm not going to give up. So we typed in the equation. I'm going to solve for x. And then how do I put in a domain restriction? All right, I'm going to do some research. I know we have to have the ability to put in a domain restriction to be able to do it. So I haven't given up. I'm just going to start the next video solving this equation, and we'll go from there. I know it's not that difficult. I just have to look up again how to put a domain restriction in when you solve an equation. Mr. G Math over and out. Till next time, part 2.